So the thing is, I've concentrated on physical exercise. As exams approached and my stress levels went up, so I started running at least for a kilometer or two, whatever that gets my blood pumping. So physical exercise for 10-15 minutes and meditating. So meditation is not that hard. If you can make it very hard for you. So you go back and sit down in the dark for 10-15 minutes. It becomes very boring.
Hello everyone, welcome to Chamomile Tea Toppers, an initiative Unacademy. My name is Akshay. Today I have a SBI PO topper who cleared the examination at a very young age and also cleared SBI JA examination along with IBPS PO examination. All this at the age of 22 and in the year 2021. Hello Gaurav, welcome to the show. How does it feel to be a banker and you're in Mumbai right now, right? So how does it feel to be working over there?
So Mumbai being my home circle, I'm very privileged to have gotten Mumbai Metro as my circle. I'm stationed there. It's a good experience working for the largest banker in the country.
That's great. That's great. So, what was the result reaction when your family got to know that you scored you cleared SBI PO examination? How was the reaction at home?
So quite frankly, I checked it alone before with my brother, and the reaction to the result itself was not as exceptional as when I found out I've gotten Mumbai Metro. So that's when I really, hit the bucket. It was just very, very, very happy. So when I told my mother also, I've gotten selected, they were I think they were expecting it. But when I told them, Mumbai Metro circle mila hai, so they were very happy.
So basically you wanted to clear SBI PO examination. That was your goal, or you were preparing for any other examination along with this?
Earlier I was preparing for SSC CGL during last year my graduation.
Okay.
So, but the CGL 2020, I was not even qualified to appear at the exam. I could have appeared, but if I cracked it, I wouldn't be eligible for any posts. So I thought, let's give some other exams in the meantime before actually going for CGL.
So basically, you had your graduation in 2021.
Yeah.
And you had a look at the notification in 2021 itself.
Yeah.
And then you wrote the examination in 21.
Right.
Okay. So did you know of anything of the bank examination before attempting the exam?
I gave SBI Junior Associate exam in June 2021.
Okay.
June or July 2021. Before that, I never prepared for any banking exams. So I cleared the prelims quite easily. So I thought, the banking exams are very easy. So I started preparing for them back then in July. So even then I was a little confused about the syllabus, about everything else. So the next 2 months, I don't think they were quite productive. I gave Junior Associate cum mains also. I cleared that, but I wasn't sure I was doing the right thing then.
Okay. So when you say you are not doing the right thing, what were the pointers that you felt that this is not going in the right way?
See, I did not know what other toppers were doing. The people who really do crack it, what are their habits, how the kind of sources, the syllabus for the exam, and the kind of questions being asked. So I was quite conversant in that. So I thought I was in a back foot. So for the next 1 month, what I did was, for 15 days, 20 days, I watched so many toppers videos, CTwT videos, and I made pointers for syllabus, for sources, for teachers to follow, for courses to follow, and for the kind of questions to look out for, the ones which are easy to solve, the ones which are not so easy to solve, and the kind of questions that make the difference, between the people who just crack the exam and between, those who really good to top it.
Okay.
So I set out that plan there, and actually it wasn't that was a foolproof plan. But then I had set out a rough roadmap in which to add things later.
Okay. What were the important pointers that you noted down through the other interviews that you had seen that will help other people as well, those who are in your current position right now? Like, I don't know what to do, how to do, how can I follow those?
So basically, I'd suggest that anyone is venturing out in the banking exams arena is you just go and find some 5-6 eloquent toppers who set out the strategies eloquently, in quite detail. So you just note their strategies. There are some other sessions in which toppers they have the full stage and they only share their strategy, full time.
Complete strategy.
Yeah, complete strategy. So you can just note the pointers down about syllabus and anything that feels like important. So even when I was just starting out the journey, not everybody starts preparing for the interview from the get-go. But then when somebody mentioned something about the interview, I noted it down and I made it a point to incorporate it in my strategy from the get-go. It's not that I'll wait for it at the very end. So people suggested you go through editorials. So I started going through editorials. It was a habit also before. I was reading editorials for some 1.5 years. So it wasn't that much of a switch. But then I continued it. I did not delegate it, because I did not put it out of the study zone. So I continued reading editorials and other things like keep increasing your reading speed, memorizing tables. I never memorized tables beyond 12 ka table. So I started doing that. So every morning I used to go through the tables, squares, cubes, and sign with the date, so that I know, okay, I've done this. So tomorrow also I'll feel like coming back.
Okay. Let's say at the starting of the examination, a lot of people have this particular problem of syllabus, that I'm not sure about what the syllabus is, where to start from and how to start from and what are the resources. And so that's a huge confusion that a lot of people do face. What did you do about this particular problem?
See, the syllabus, actually if you go through a few practice sessions, maths practice sessions for prelims or maths practice session for mains, then you'd encounter with people such as Ashish Arora. So he has this practice sessions, full length mocks for maths prelims level and maths mains level. So you just go through them. You'll see the kind of questions. It's not that the syllabus is set in stone. So it changes according to the questions, according to the changing pattern of the banking exams. So it's not that you have to finish the syllabus first before you set out for the mocks. So the one key pointer I noted down was, okay, you have to prepare for the mocks and you have to be very honest with you when you're dealing with mocks. If you don't do that, then perhaps it would have been a different story for me. So from the get-go itself, I knew, okay, I want to focus on mocks diligently. So that was a key pointer in my strategy.
Got it. So a lot of practice and a lot of mocks. That was your goal and you had achieved it.
So I did not wait to finish the syllabus.
Okay.
So as soon as I set out to do one mock at least once a week. Once or twice a week.
Okay.
So that I was in the...
And the complete mock test,
complete mock test, yeah. For prelims in the beginning, but then quickly I switched to mains.
Okay.
So I think I prepared for prelims for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then I completely switched to mains.
Okay. Now I would like to know that the number of exams that you wrote and how many did you clear and how many you could not.
So banking exams, I started out with SBI JA.
Okay.
So when I came out of the exam, I did not even know what the cutoff was, but fortunately I had cleared it. So the next exam I set out for myself was NICL AO.
Okay.
NICL AO, and then SBI PO and IBPS PO. So for NICL AO, I told you I have not practiced so much for PO prelims.
Okay.
Prelims levels. So I couldn't clear NICL AO prelims.
Okay.
I was heartbroken. So I got a good reality check. You have to prepare for prelims also. It's not that you can take it lightly. I was preparing for mains. So that's a different ball game. Mains is a different ball game. You have to concentrate on accuracy, not so much on your attempts, not so much on timing your solutions. So when this failure came in NICL AO prelims, so I gave at least 3 to 4 weeks for prelims itself before SBI PO's prelims came around.
Okay. Now you mentioned that in prelims you did not concentrate much, but after NICL examination you concentrated more on prelims as well, because that's an important exam and the important part as well. So what are the things that you say that it's important for prelims as such?
For prelims particularly, I felt that if I was preparing for let's say puzzles, and people have these checklists for every day. Ashish Arora sir comes out with a quants ka checklist. Ankush Lamba sir, these are the 2 educators I followed on Unacademy diligently. So Ankush Lamba sir, he comes out with reasoning ka checklist. So in the beginning, what used to happen is I tried to solve both the checklists, but I couldn't. So I just told myself that there was this another topper I followed on YouTube, and he talked about task switching cost.
Okay.
So when you are moving from doing puzzles at a stretch to doing DI or something else or miscellaneous questions, there's an attention deficit that you suffer from. So to get over that, what I did was for a week or two, I just practiced puzzles.
Okay.
Every day. So,
Completely?
Yeah, completely puzzles and something else that I was doing, some course I was finishing or anything. But for practice, I was only doing puzzles or something related to reasoning, nothing else. So my weekly, I scheduled my weeks accordingly. So I gave 2 days for quants, 2 days for reasoning, 1 day for English and any mocks that I wanted to dissect, and 1 day for losing track. 1 day for mocks, particularly mains or prelims.
Got it. So, but there's one particular point here that you mentioned about task switching cost. Now, if you are revising only puzzles for 2-3 days, you might forget puzzles or any other kind of questions, right? So, how do you make sure that you're on track with everything?
So this was in the initial phases, na? Because I was only setting out for it.
Okay.
So because I thought a topper suggested that you'd go through quants and reasoning checklists. You have to solve so many puzzles every day, so many DIs, bench level DIs and pre-level DIs. But I thought in the beginning I couldn't do all of this. So instead I'll focus on the segments, different segments. I wasn't very conversant in them, but I focus on them so that I get better. And then later on in the last phases, like prelims is 30 days away or 20 days away, then I can concentrate on those checklists and I can tick them off my syllabus and schedule.
Now let's move to the individual subjects as such. Like for quants, what are the important things that you need to keep in your mind, and what are the things that you must do for sure?
What Ashish Arora said, I followed him completely. So whatever his guidelines were for his suggestions, so I followed them. So I did one of his courses for PACE 1.0, 2.0 for complete quant. So I just revised it. I did not sit back and just watch the lectures. I used to pause them and solve the questions myself and just match my solution with his.
Okay.
So, and I used to incorporate the kind of changes that he did in his solutions into my own solutions.
Okay.
The next time I prepared. So I only did one course each. For miscellaneous quants, I did one course. For miscellaneous reasoning, I did one course. And all the other courses, I went through them, but I did not watch the lectures. I just practiced through those courses. For puzzles, it was a little difficult in the beginning because you have to sit down. For mains puzzles, I'm talking. For mains puzzles, you have to sit back and for half an hour, the solution wouldn't come to you. So it's hard. You're putting in that time is hard. But then you have to.
Okay.
So even for mains DI is more handsy because you just can solve, The quants has been a little easier because you just can crunch numbers, but not so much in reasoning. Because in puzzles, if you don't know how to approach a question, you'll sit there forever, but you're not going to make it.
Okay. Was there any situation in the examination wherein you tried to solve a puzzle, but it took a lot of time for you?
Yes, sir. In my SBI PO prelims exam, so this horrific experience with ICL PO pre, I couldn't crack it. So I had this prelims phobia.
Okay.
I developed this temporary prelims phobia, and then I went into SBI PO prelims with that phobia in mind. So my English segment was right, my quants was quite good, but then in reasoning I solved the miscellaneous questions and then I went for the puzzles and I picked up a bad puzzle. I mean, it didn't work out well for me, so I wasted 3-4 minutes in it. So there were 2 or 3 possibilities, but I only went ahead with one of them. So I was confident that isse ho jayega, but it didn't happen.
Okay.
So I had wasted 3-4 minutes and I knew that so little time remains. So I picked up another, and then this thing, kept going on in mind. You've wasted so much time. You're not gonna make it. It's not happening. So even there, I made a silly mistake. And at the end of the next 2 minutes, I realized what mistake I had made. But I still left that question. It was worth 3 questions, but I still left it. I could have done it. But then the next question that came up was a coded blood relation.
Okay.
So that's not a question.
Kind of a question.
Yeah, a difficult kind of a question. Not many would venture out for it, but then I did, and with that my attempts were 61. So after the exam was over, I asked my neighbor, okay, how many attempts you made? He said 80. So I thought the exam was easy for everyone else, but I messed it up.
Okay.
So that was a very bad setback for me.
Okay. Yet you were able to clear the SBI PO exam.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but what I did was, okay, after SBI PO prelims, I thought I'd not be able to make it, because even if I do make it, I won't have a huge margin over the cutoff.
Okay.
So I did not prepare for means for 10 days. I mean, the interval before you get your results.
Yes.
So I wasn't preparing for anything. I had lost all hope and I was just sitting around. I read general awareness. That was something that I was doing, but I was not practicing mocks or anything else. So
you had kind of left your hopes on the exam.
Yeah. So you only have 20 to 30 days between your prelims and the next means.
Correct.
So I'd wasted 10 days, and when the results came out, and I thought, okay, I've cleared it, and now I've wasted my time. So just befuddling myself over a mistake I'd made. So I started preparing in twice the speed.
Okay.
So I gave 2 or 3 mock tests for means each week, and I was very particular about means mock tests as well. I've given 12 to 15 means mock tests, but I've sat through all of them. Not only the 3 hours ka main sections wala question mocks, but also the half an hour descriptive questions.
Okay.
So I have not left even a single means mock without writing the descriptive essay. So that's all the practice I've gotten for descriptive papers. So I did not prepare for it separately. When I was going through the mocks, I just attached that also. So I was sitting there for 3.5 hours every single time I went for a means mock.
Okay.
So I given some 12 to 15 mocks before SBI PO means.
Okay. So basically you gave complete 3.5 hours mock test, and how does it feel to give it for long, and was it like kind of habitual for you?
No, I felt very much resistance in the beginning, initial phases. Okay, I have to sit for 3.5 hours. What people usually do is they submit the mock tests. They just go into it, submit the mock test, and then solve it at their own pace at home, back home. But I thought, I have to simulate the exam environment. So I gave all my means practice mocks were full-fledged full mocks.
Okay. So you gave full submit mock test.
And then I have to go and spend some 2.5 hours more on the questions I couldn't do or the questions I did wrong. So it was a complete 6 hours, 5 to 6 hours exercise each mock.
Yeah. And you would do it continuously and never think of anything else during the
alternatively alternate days. If there is any key area that's highlighted during something I couldn't perform on, some questions I left out which were easy to do, so I go back and study for them and practice them in the next day. And usually that analysis also, it takes time. So it's not that perhaps I'll give 2 mock tests today. So not means ka, prelims ka, 2 mock tests I've given, but I have to practice, analyze them. Analysis will take 2-3 hours, but then you have to go practice also. Now, if you fell short on DIs, fell short on some kind of puzzles, then you have to go and put in 3-4 hours in there. So I did that over the course of week.
So I would like to ask about reasoning. Was it easy for you, or did you prepare anything specifically for it?
Yeah, so I went through one miscellaneous for prelims and means combined, Ankush Lamba sir's course. So I went through it. Once I saw what kind of questions he's asking, when I have seen one question being solved by him once, so I won't see it again. His solution, I'll just solve it myself and go ahead with it. So that's how you practice through lectures also. So it's not that you have to sit back and practice on your own. So that's something I did. And another course I did for means level puzzles and means level big kind of miscellaneous questions. So I did 2 or 3 of Ankush Lamba sir's courses. That's all I did.
So that is good enough, and you got a lot of methods to solve a single puzzle as well, right? So usually you have multiple routes of solving a puzzle. So how do you select a particular route to solve a puzzle?
So Ankush Lamba sir, what he says is, you just when you've practiced a lot of puzzles, that method comes to you. So there'll usually be a 3 to 4 possibilities in a question, but then you can actually locate which possibility will give you the answer. So I hedged the wrong bets during my SBI PO prelims. So that's why I went ahead with only one scenario and not the other 2. So it misfires sometimes, but most of the times it works. I also concentrated on critical reasoning questions because my English was good. So I knew that consequently my critical reasoning questions will also turn out to be correct. So not many take the risk of doing all the critical reasoning questions, but I went ahead with it in the all means.
Okay, got it. So coming to the English part, English, was it easy for you, or you had to prepare a lot for it?
So my English was already, I was quite conversant in it. So I just went ahead with reading editorials. And one of the things that I've done is before entering the exam hall, I've always read 1 or 2 editorials swiftly. And even in the exam hall, I used to reach there at least 1 hour before. So I'll get in early, I'll take a nap 10-15 minutes, or just close my eyes, regulate my breathing, everything to take the stress levels down. And then when the exam window opened, I used to read through all the instructions very fast so that I'm prepared for the questions to come. Because if that boosts your reading speed at the last moment.
Okay.
So I used to do that then.
So basically that's about the English part. Now let's talk about the GA. For GA, did you do anything specifically, and what are the resources that you followed? And did you read past 6 months or even beyond that?
So I did not do anything for 6 months. I started preparing for current affairs from September, I guess, and that too only on and off sort of a preparation. So I knew from the pointers that made in the beginning from the toppers talks, general awareness, you have to do current affairs daily, where I couldn't find the time. I perhaps did not think it that essential back then. But then as I went ahead for October, I followed all the current affairs daily. So in the morning, Kapil Katpal sir on Unacademy used to have his lectures then. So in the morning, 7 o'clock, I used to reach my library for the lecture. So I'm a very lazy kind of a person. I used to wake up at 7 initially. But then I thought, because Kapil Katpal sir takes this lecture in the morning and he's a working banker, so why can't I wake up early? So I woke up early and I reached library in time. Sometimes what used to happen is I was on the move when he started his lecture. So I just opened his lecture and listened to it on the road. It was a residential sort of an area, so not much traffic that VRs. So I just went ahead with it.
Okay.
So that gave me that early morning boost also. So I followed his videos daily, but I couldn't revise them every night. He usually tells he has this question and answer sessions each night on the previous days or that day's questions. So I did not do that, but every week on a Sunday, I used to revise all the general awareness that I've accumulated over the last week or the week before.
Now, also the descriptive, a lot of people have a particular feeling that descriptive, you need to keep it simple and clean. So what are your views on that?
So this is something that I've learned from experience, because when I was sitting through those mocks 3.5 hours, I have not prepared for descriptive essays any differently,
Okay.
out of the box. So what I did was, when I was giving those mocks, that half an hour, I had a keyboard, a clunky keyboard, the clumsy one. So I had that to practice, and I saw when I used difficult questions, I sometimes missed something else also, or the content won't be the number, keyword count won't be there. So I just kept it simple, but even there I tried to put in some extraordinary chunks from here there, what I was reading from places.
Okay, to add value to it. Got it. So basically, among all the topics and all the sections, which one do you feel is pretty scoreable? And according to you, which one did you score well?
So it is different for everyone, but for me, I think English was somewhere I could, fetch most marks. So both English objective and English descriptive. So I've scored perhaps that sailed me.
Okay.
Across.
That helped you get more marks and also clear the cutoff.
Yeah,
okay.
And also I think that many people concentrated on doing 6 months GA. So what people usually do is they're reading through the last 3 months, and then when the exam comes, they go back to the 6th, 5th, and the 4th month, right? So they clutter their minds so much. We had only done last 3 months GA, so it was easier for me to remember also. So in the actual exam, the thing is, for GA, sometimes you just some educated guesses you take. So I have I got some 26, 27 attempts in GA, but I used to secure good marks and good percentile in the mocks also. So I went ahead with that strategy. I took some 5-6 educated guesses.
Got it.
Wherever I felt like it.
That's about the complete part of the examination. Now the important point is a lot of people do write multiple bank exams, like one like SBI PO, IBPS PO, and many other RBI assistant grade B, and many other NICL as well. And so now even we have a notification of SID as well.
Yeah.
So what do you feel that what's the difference between each and every exam? And preparing for one exam will help for each and every one, or is it different for each and all?
Mostly all the banking exams are the same. So even if you're preparing for NABARD or if you're preparing for RBI Grade B in particular, then at least the prelims part is the same. So RBI Grade B, if you're preparing for RBI Grade B sincerely,
yes.
if you're qualified enough to crack the prelims there, then I think SBI PO will be well taken care of. Or alternatively, if you crack SBI PO ka mains, then concurrently I think you can grade B ho jayega.
But the mains part for RBI grade B is
it's different. Of course, it's different. It's descriptive. Half of it is descriptive, and the syllabus is quite different. But even SID B grade A, I feel the notification mentions only QRE and GA. So it's not that difficult, and there will be an interview. So it's a one-phase exam I face. But I think most of the other exams, insurance exams, the pattern will be the same.
Okay.
So you have to go through the patterns, and if there's perhaps computer there that's different or insurance awareness, you have to prepare, put in the time for that also.
So now the important part of the examination, the interview part. Now you prepare a lot for the examination, and once you clear the mains, now interview is something that a lot of people do prepare after mains. Now should you prepare it beforehand, or should you prepare it during the interview phase?
So I feel the interview is the most important part of the entire journey, because see, quite competent people, the ratio for an interview is 1:3, I guess.
Correct.
So they're asking 6,000 candidates to appear, and all of them are equally competent. So it's not that they've cleared 2 stages, so they're giving you a tough fight. They're going to give you a tough fight for that seat. So you should be most diligent when you're preparing for your interviews. And it's not that you have to you have to become very stressful. So you just be your natural self. But even then you have to be quite diligent about your preparation. You have to take that preparation seriously. So I feel that for 5-6 days I was not taking that seriously. But then when I realized the importance of it, so I went ahead with venturing deep into my educational background. So I have done a bachelor's in economics. So I went through some basics of economics, because they're supposed to ask questions from there. And also I followed economy, current affairs, because I expected that there would be some questions.
Current affairs related to economics.
Economy. So
and
some
was
opinions
it only,
about them.
Indian economy or world economy?
Actually, the Russia-Ukraine war was also going on.
Total world economy.
Yeah. So world economy, those aspects you have to calculate them in. And global, the pandemic has meant that all the things were interrelated.
Correct.
So yeah. So even when you read the Hindu, all the other aspects of international economy were also connected, covered there.
Okay. Now, how was your interview altogether? Like, what were the kind of questions that you
my interview center was Mumbai. I reside there. So when I was going there, in my cab itself, I was thinking, okay, for a brief moment, I thought, okay, what if they don't like the way I am not able to answer as per the expectations, what will happen? So I just told myself, okay, Gaurav, you don't want this job, you don't want to crack this interview, you just want to go there and be your natural self. And that'll take care of it.
Okay.
So even
did you by chance give any mock interviews before going for the interview?
Yes, sir. I appeared for this mock interview with Kapil Katpal, sir.
Okay.
So he had these late night interview sessions, and I appeared in one of them. So the interview experience was not that good, because he asked me some questions for which I think I'd taken it very lightly. I just ill-prepared and just came in brashly and did not answer as per his expectations. So his review of it was also in the negative. So he said he'll give me only 25 marks out of 50, which is not good enough to make the cut. So in that brief moment, I became very nervous. But then as soon as I was out of it, after half an hour, I just told myself, okay, no, Gaurav, you only have 2 days. If you take this matter seriously right now, then you're definitely gonna miss it. So better would be to just forget about this experience. I only appeared for this one interview and it was also negative. So I'd suggest do give some mock interviews, but if they don't go as well as you would expected them to be, then just don't fret yourself about it so much.
Got it. So what are the kind of questions that were asked in the
interview? So I expected that they'll ask me some economy related questions. You see, they give you it's called a detailed application form or something.
Yeah.
So they give you that. So I put in bachelor's in economics as well as some other events that I'd organized alongside some awards I'd won and debates and competitions that I'd won. And when I entered the room, he did not ask for any introduction. He simply identified the candidate. He said, so Mr. Gaurav, welcome. And so you have done this and that and that. No introduction required. It just went ahead with the first question itself. So I was, put on a back foot instantly, because at least that introduction gives you the confidence to present yourself before the interviewers. So it was lunch hours. They was perhaps getting late for lunch, so they just went ahead with whatever they had. So he went through that and posted the first question about economy. So he asked me the 3 suggestions I'd give to the finance minister. So I hopped in my chance because I'd read so much about the current affairs then. So I told him one of the suggestions was, okay, take senior bankers into confidence so that they feel confident giving out credit to big corporates, because back then it was in the news that former SBI chairman Pradeep Chaudhary had been arrested in Rajasthan about a bad NPA loan case. So I highlighted that particular point and it resonated across the board. So that perhaps gave me some positive credit to go along with it.
Great. So that helps you to be, like, if you are in the current affairs, that helps you to crack the examination in any way that you want to.
Right.
So that's
the thing is, the composition of the board is also their senior bankers. They know their game. So when you are going there and you tap into the kind of things that they think about, then that resonates across.
Good.
And the matter is, it's not only about the knowledge that you showcase during those 10-15 minutes that you get with the panel. It's also about those non-personal communications you make, non-verbal communications. So when I was entering, I was confident. So I had watched a video or 2 about how to present a confident physique when you're entering, when you're leaving. So even when I was leaving, so I made it a point that I made a last-minute eye contact with the chairman. So he was also looking out for it. So you have to be particular about all the other things also, not only about the things you say, only things you give out,
mind physically. And body language.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you mentioned about one particular important point here that before the actual interview you had given a mock interview and that was not a good experience.
Yeah.
Yet you moved on to the next level and you wanted to make sure that your interview goes on the best possible method. So that helps you. That's only possible when you have your particular mindfulness and you have your mind control.
Yeah.
Now even during the preparation, the particular instance that you mentioned that you were not able to clear many subjects or many topics as such. So how do you make sure that even for all those who are preparing right now, how do you make sure that to be mindful and also to do some kind of meditation or do some kind of physical activity which helps you to regain consciousness and also to be mindfulness?
So the thing is, I've concentrated on physical exercise. In July, September, perhaps I've lost track of it. But then as exams approached and my stress levels went up, so I started running at least for a kilometer or 2, whatever that gets my blood pumping. So physical exercise for 10-15 minutes and meditating. So meditation is not that hard. If you can make it very hard for you. So you go back and sit down in the dark for 10-15 minutes. It becomes very boring. But what you can do is, what I used to do, I watched a few videos on how to meditate. And there were some breathing techniques that you can adopt. So I adopted them and I incorporated in my schedule. Right. So during those meditating 10-15 minutes, I used to get this that perhaps I was falling short on this, or there was some resistance to some course correction, because it's not easy. Acknowledging your mistakes, acknowledging your shortfalls, the kind of things you're not doing, and you know that something has to be done, but you're not doing it. You need to find the courage. So in those 10-15 minutes, you find the courage. You find ways in which to creatively incorporate those things in your schedule.
Got it.
So those 10-15 minutes are really important.
A lot of people do face this demotivation part, or they feel like the burnout session as well. Like, I've been studying a lot, I've been doing a lot, but I'm not able to get marks. So how do we come out of that particular phase?
So that used to happen. So at least with the last 2-3 months were very, very harsh. I mean, taxing. Okay. So what I used to do is after this NISEL PO prelims debacle, I went back to all the positive things that happened in my life, and I had to weave out a story to tell myself, to just build that emotional resilience. So I did that. It's not easy to do, but then you have to put your foot down and just console yourself. I had my brother to guide me throughout. He's a younger brother, but he has always been the sounding board that I use. So I used to tell him after every mock, I used to analyze it with him. So I used to tell him, this is where I fell short, this is something that I could have done better, this is something that I haven't thought about or haven't given much time to. So he used to reflect those things that were important that I missed perhaps in the stress of preparing for the examination. Having that kind of support really helps.
Great. So also along with this, like your parents and your friends also play a lot of matter in this. So how was their support and how did they shape you in this particular examination?
So my parents, they've always motivated me. So whatever they've done from working in the fields back home to coming to Mumbai and then supporting a family through the pandemic and building a small business out of their experiences. So they've been a motivating factor. There are some friends also who have fallen back for support during these times. So some of them were doing really well for themselves. So instead of getting jealous, I use that as a positive factor pushing me forward. That if somebody who was with me some years ago down the line, so if he can be in this place, then I can also. So I pushed myself in that regard.
That's great. That's great. So any kind of message or anything, any thank you message that you want to give them?
I want to thank all my friends. They know who they are, and I did not mention them by name. So all of them, I really sincerely thank you.
Great. So
and I thank my brother who's with me here. So I'd like to thank him also on this platform.
Great. So that brings us to the end of the episode. We have spoken a lot about the strategy part and also the mindfulness, and also how does your family and friends support you, and what kind of things that you need to do during the exam. Now we'll play a very small rapid fire round, and I'll give you questions pretty quickly, and you'll have to answer them pretty fast. So here goes your first question. Would you prefer board games or video games?
Board games.
Any favorite game that you had in your childhood?
Cricket.
Cricket. Any favorite Cartoon Network series or episode that you want to?
Oggy and the Cockroaches.
Okay.
Rich.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. So, would you prefer going to gym or exercising outdoors?
Exercising outdoors.
Okay. And do you like reading books or listening to music?
Listening to music, as well as reading books.
Okay. And what's your favorite type of art and artist?
Literature.
Okay. Any particular author that you like a lot?
I've read all of Arthur Conan Doyle,
okay.
all of Sherlock Holmes.
Okay, good. And would you prefer spending time with a large group or with your secluded time?
With a large group.
With a large group. Okay. Now, what's your favorite food?
Biryani.
One thing that you can never leave, anything, like if you're going outside, you can't leave that particular thing. Which one would that be?
Any meat around. Chicken dishes.
Okay. Any favorite type of movie or TV show?
I like to watch John Oliver's videos on YouTube.
Okay, great. So yeah, that brings us to the end of the rapid fire round. We have a small gift hamper for you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for all the answers that you gave. So we had a very long session about the strategy part and also a small part over the rapid fire round. How did you like the whole Chamomile TV Toppers episode?
So I really like the experience. I really relish it very much, and I'm going to relish these memories. I mean, for the time to come. And from being a viewer of this channel to being casted on it is such a journey that it's really inspiring.
Thank you so much for the kind words, and we'll keep inspiring a lot of more people as well. And we did have a very good time before the shoot, and we'll also have a good time post the shoot as well. That brings us to the end of the episode. Before I end it, I would like you to tag one other topper who can experience this particular part, this particular interview, and also share their story as well.
So I like to tag two toppers. One is Abhijit Sonamne from Mumbai Metro Circle, and another is Rupali. She's also a PO from Mumbai Metro Circle.
We'll definitely try to get them here as well. And so any particular message that you would like to give to all the aspirants?
So right now the prelims has happened, and I'll ask them, all of you, please do concentrate on your mains preparation. Don't leave it. Even if you think that you won't be able to make the cut, just focus on your mains preparation. It will help you the next time around.
Thank you so much for that message. I'm sure they will be preparing for the mains examination right now. And so of all the aspirants, we do have a lot of other toppers who are given up their strategies for the examination. They have shared the story of how they cleared the examination. So that will bring up a lot of important information for you as well. And I wish you all the good luck for your examination, and let's keep cracking it.